Welcome to the Be the If podcast. Here, we focus on being intentional about your life, your time, and your legacy. I am your host, Jared Walker, and my goal is to help you be the if to your legacy. See, a time thief is anybody or anything that is stealing your time that you could be investing into your life or your legacy. Your legacy matters. So if you want a reputation that is actually so impactful that your children's children look to you and look for you and actually look at you like, yo, I want to be like him. They see you in the mirror when they look at themselves. That's who they aim and aspire and desire to be. Check this out. This is how we can make that happen. Hey, what's going on? Look, I got a question for you. How many of you would like to leave a reputation behind so impactful that your children's children look up to you? They look to you even if they can't see you because they know the person that you have become or had became was worth mimicking. How many of you have a valuable legacy that you are building right now? I mean the type of legacy that's worth protecting rather than one that's worth correcting. You're either doing one or the other. We are either building a legacy worth protecting or creating a legacy worth correcting. I remember when I wasn't as intentional about the things that would matter in the future. Immensely. I remember when my daughter would look to me and look at me, and it was as if she was like, I'm so happy to see you, but I know you're not going to be around for long, because I was always busy working. You ever had people that you value and cherish that don't get to see you as much because you're always so busy? So the limited time that you have with them is time what they call well spent. Well, I'm here to tell you, listen, that's a whole lie. Time well spent doesn't really exist. It's an oxymoron, seeing that to spend, etymologically speaking, actually means to divest. Look it up. To spend is to divest. That is to deprive. You're taking away. However, to invest is the wiser decision, because when you are investing, you are using your time or your money to put forth for the purpose of acquiring a desirable outcome in the future. That is what intentionality looks like. So if I want an ROI, a return on investment, if I want to see a profit in the future, then I have to invest today, not spend. Spending time was one of the worst things that I would do back in the day. Spending time with my daughter was something that was foolishly being done. Spending time with my son was foolishly being done. Spending time with my wife was foolishly being done. Because anytime I was not investing my time with them and I was only spending it, that means there was no expectation of future involved. I was just doing stuff. You ever found yourself looking up and realizing, man, the time is just flowing on by? However, though it felt good in the moment, you look up and be like, man, what was the purpose and point of all of that? You might feel like you were robbed. It reminds me of what I call a time thief. See, a time thief is anybody or anything that is stealing your time that you could be investing into your life or your legacy. Your legacy matters. So if you want a reputation that is actually so impactful that your children's children look to you and look for you and actually look at you like, yo, I want to be like him. They see you in the mirror when they look at themselves. That's who they aim and aspire and desire to be. Check this out. This is how we can make that happen. Number one, you got to get rid of all time thieves. Any time thief that you have is a problem. And any problem that you have is a question. And every question that you have in that category needs an answer. And those answers, I guarantee you, they are on the other side of intentionality. Look, I remember watching a movie called In Time with Justin Timberlake. Dope movie. Thing about that movie is it made me think about some things that really hit hard. Like, for example, when they were 25 years old, seeing that they were genetically modified, there was something that would go off inside of them that would actually start, and that was their clock. See, when they hit 25, they stopped growing and developing. Who they were going to be was who they were going to appear to be at the very least. So there was this whole watch that was embedded digitally into their arm, into their wrist. So what you would see is at 25, they get a whole year. Boom, just like that. 1 year is 8,760 hours. That's 525,600 minutes. So they got that at 25. Here's the thing. Time was money for them. They had to use that time to survive. That's how they literally paid their bills, ate, fed their families, and did everything that they needed to do. They did it with their time. And the crazy part about that is, though time is not money. Oh, no. See, time is infinitely more valuable than money. You run out of money, you can go make some more. You run out of time, oh, it's done. It's over. It's game over. It's like that Mario, it's over. So time, in my opinion, is life, because you can't separate the two. See, if you don't have any more time, then you don't have any more life. So if you got so intentional about your time that it caused others to look at you as if you were some type of anomaly, or think of you as if you were someone worth reflecting, that means you got intentional about your life. Oh, man. So my daughter, the way that she would look at me when she was a baby, made me reflect on the fact that I wasn't intentional and I wasn't doing the best job. However, before I even pressed the record button today, I asked her, what's your favorite thing to do with me? And in essence, she told me just to hang out with you and watch you do the things that you do. She's looking at me like, I want to do that. She says she's interested. It's very intriguing for her. And she likes to see what I'm doing because it makes her think about doing those things. That means that I have become a person of interest to her. There are so many daughters out here that are not interested in the things that their fathers are doing because many of them are not intentional. There are so many daughters who are not interested in what their mothers are doing because many of them are unintentional. In order to build a legacy worth protecting, you have to be intentional about becoming a person worth reflecting. I ain't perfect, but I'm good enough for my daughter to look at me and say, I want to be like my daddy. My son says the same thing. And it's like, it's amazing because I know what it was like when I was not that guy. I don't come on here with some high horse perspective and thinking I'm better than anyone. I just know that people need to be made aware that they can become better than what they are, even if they're already great. See, the thing about it is, if you get rid of all the time thieves, those things that are requiring your time, that have nothing to do with your actual legacy, with your purposes in life, if you get rid of those, then you can become the person that people can rely on also. There was a book that I read many years ago. My wife read it many years ago, and I've read it a multiplicity of times with our children. See, every night, for the most part, we have a story time with Daddy. Daddy's reading books. If Daddy ain't reading the book, he's making the story up. I always got to put a little oomph in there, y'all. Have a little fun. Because I remember when I would get in my daughter's crib, yes, I told on myself, I used to climb inside of her crib and she would not go to sleep. And I would just lay in the crib with her and make up stories just to get her to go to bed. I mean, y'all know how it is. If you're a parent, you got kids, oh my goodness. When they're infants, when they just, you know what I'm saying, like 4 months old, 6 months and stuff like that, them kids ain't trying to go to sleep. So I would do everything I could. But one thing that stuck is those stories. To this day, I get to tell her and our other 2 children stories, and they love to hear them. They even told me, they said, Daddy, we like your stories. We like the other stories, but we like your stories. I was like, wow. Well, there's this story. This book is called The Giving Tree. And the thing about that Giving Tree book by Shel Silverstein is it shows a great depiction of those who truly love us. See, the tree would give of itself every time the boy would come and make a request. And I was like, man, all the way down to the point where it was nothing more than a stump. And the boy was no longer a little boy. He was a grown old man. And he just needed somewhere to sit. What if you were that stump for somebody else? What if you were that place of comfort for someone else, all because you decided to be intentional about your time in your life? See, you don't have to settle for being a stump, though. See, everything that you've experienced in life has come with some type of territory of opportunity. And if you cross that line, then you decided to take a risk. See, when you take a risk, this is a reward in seeking knowledge. That's what a risk is all about. And when you take a risk, what you are doing is you are stepping into the arena and you are ready for battle. If you are not prepared, then you are going to be prepared. That's how life goes. You are either being prepared or you've been prepared for whatever it is that you are about to enter into. So when I hear this saying that I heard Myron Golden say, disruption follows intention. And I agree wholeheartedly. Because the moment you make your mind up to do something, especially when it's in alignment with who you are meant to be, oh man, distractions and disruptions always come. However, what I believe is fruition follows completion. See, you get to enjoy the fruit of a thing the moment you complete it. And the process is what it is. I genuinely believe that we should count it all joy when going through various trials, knowing that the testing of our faith is what produces patience or endurance. And if we let it have its full work, we'll be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Meaning we will become mature once we go through the process of maturity. See, the trees that grow, they don't come up overnight. It takes time. They go from a state and place of seed being in the ground and going through darkness when no one else is around. And as those seeds develop and they produce what they're supposed to produce, the most that they could potentially produce is the root. That's it. They got to go down. But see, whenever they sprout up and they go through all of the seasons and the time that is necessary, what ends up happening is someday they end up having leaves populate all over them. There's an appearance to them. And then as time goes on, in its due season, there's fruit on the branches alongside the leaves. But before the fruit is good to eat, it still has to go through a process of ripening. Some trees literally produce fruit that ain't gonna be no good until it has been taken off of the tree for a period of time, and then it is ready. So I remember being taken out of a position of comfort, even though I was actually uncomfortable, not knowing it, and being put in a position of discomfort to the point where I was stuck, unable to take care of my family the way that I desired to, because I had been injured. And then I remember physically going from physically being injured to mentally being injured. And I remember going through the process of transformation. And I remember looking in the mirror and asking my wife, hey, stop. Let me ask you a question, baby. She said, what? I said, you see that guy? She said, yeah. I said, do I really look like that? Look over there, then look at me. I got her looking back and forth at the mirror, then looking at me, look in the mirror, look at me, look at me. She's like, yes, baby. That is who you look like. I said, but I don't see that. She said, congratulations. You're finally beginning to see yourself the way that others do. See, that was the process of me becoming who it is that I was meant to be becoming. So the person that I had become was a conflict with the person that I was becoming. And it was at that moment I realized I had a lot more growing to do. And I just had to let it happen. See, when you let it happen, when you let the endurance, let the process happen, when you go through, you become more fruitful for those who will come to you in due season. See, with the giving tree, the actual tree was producing everything that it was meant to produce. However, you are a tree that is meant to produce what is referred to as the fruit of life. What do you mean, Jared? Glad you asked. There's a proverb. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream come true or a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. What if you going through everything you're going through is for the purpose of producing fruit that will be useful for somebody else when they need it most? What if the fruit that is going to be produced is a byproduct of the purpose that you are meant to introduce to somebody else? What if everything that you are going through that requires healing allows you to be helpful to somebody else? My genuine belief is that if you're going to help somebody, then you better make sure that it's healing. See, if something needs healing, that means it's incomplete. It's not whole. It's unhealthy. So in order for it to become healthy again, it has to heal. It needs to be made whole. Well, what if the fruit that you are meant to produce through the pain and processes of purpose development that you are going through is actually useful for somebody else and you don't even know it? Meanwhile, you may find yourself complaining. What if all that I went through was useful for me to sit here and actually record this for somebody to hear it and actually help them to see exactly what it is they're going through with purpose? See, there's value in everything that we experience. And the value that you have to offer has to be pulled out of you. See, I remember when I was going through the process of becoming the if in my children's life, in my family's life, in my wife's life. However, I had to stop being they. See, the they is going to be the time thieves. See, they require a whole lot of you that those who require you to be the if require. So what's a conflict of interest? See, they want you to be available for you only when it benefits them. Oh, you need that time. Sit down. You just got to take one for yourself. Hold up. If I'm taking one for myself and I'm taking care of me, why are you around? Wouldn't it be wiser to invest that same time into those who need me most? Well, sometimes the time that you are investing is the process of pain that you are enduring, but it's okay. It's okay. Because on the other side of what you have experienced, there's a usefulness that produces somebody else's value. See, you didn't put it there. All you did was help bring it out. See, there's another proverb that says, purpose in a man's heart is like deep waters, but a man of understanding will help draw it out. So if you decide to be the if, then you decided to be intentional about your time and your legacy. See, when I decided to be the if and I made my mind up, I got to benefit from my children wanting to be around me, wanting to do what I do, me wanting to learn more so that I can become more, do more, teach more, show more, grow more, and all that comes with knowing more. So if I'm doing it, then they get to reflect that. I get to model behavior that I want to see repeated, even if I'm not physically around. But what investments are you making into yourself as it pertains to what you don't know? How intentional are you being with your time? Is it of value to you to be the person that your children may require you to be or desire you to be? And even if you don't have children, what about those who look to you from a distance and you don't even know that they're watching? What about the people who are watching you experience and endure things that you don't want to go through? What about the people that's possibly finding hope in how you are responding to your circumstances? Would it be worth it for you to be intentional about how you experience it? What if you only had 8,760 hours left on your clock? Would it be worth it for you to be intentional about every minute and hour that goes by for the purpose of those who will inevitably need you most? See, I believe that if you are a time thief, then you have the choice and the option, the opportunity and responsibility to stop stealing your own time, stop robbing yourself, and stop allowing those who are outside of you to do the same. And if you are going to be the if, then your legacy, the one that you're building that's worth protecting. See, legacy is learned expectations gained after considering yesterday. This requires you to be the person who reflects on all that you have experienced so that you can package it up, package that thing up right. That way others can get what it is that you have to offer it because you already have a greater understanding than they can possibly have right now. All because you chose to be intentional about observing what you were going through. And when you create that, now what happens is it's life examples gained after considering you. That's the other side of legacy. That's the gift that you give. And if you become the person that is worth reflecting, that means you've also become an individual that's worth respecting. I think it's safe to say that it would be best for you to respect yourself in such a way that you respect your time, knowing that it is limited, and those who respect you will also do the same. Look, be intentional about your life, be intentional about your time, and be intentional about your mind, because those things all work together. And when there's an investment that is being made appropriately, it is inevitable that the fruit that is meant to be produced will come out of your mouth, because what's in you is what's going to come out of you. And if what is coming out of you is the fruit of your lips that's producing value for others, then I guarantee you, it wasn't by accident. It was because of the decisions that you decided to make. Get focused and stay there. Till next time, y'all. And remember, you got this, because you still here for a reason, with purpose. Because whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. Then what you gonna do with it?